All right. Sorry. Hopefully this is working now. Okay, so live from Glacier National Park inside the Apgar campground. That's where we're at right now. This is not going to be, there's not going to be a lot of pomp and circumstance around this one. No cool StreamYard frame around the live. Um, we're just going to get it done. Uh, so I'm pulled over on the shoulder just inside the campground where I actually have a couple bars of LTE, but not much upload speed. So hopefully this is coming through okay. Um, Normally we release our edited videos on Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern, but that just didn't work out because I've got a 23 gig video that I just couldn't get out. I tried and tried. I could not get it published on time. So we're going to be doing the live. And the reason I'm doing a live right now is because inside the Project Trek Crew Facebook page, which I recommend all of you join, because that is how we kind of deliver messages to you guys and how we support people wanting to go full-time RVing or even part-time RVing. We just we want to be able to support you guys, and that's the easiest way for us to do it. So if you haven't joined the Project Trek Crew Facebook page, I encourage you to do that now, or at least after the live. Either way, Tara Moore asked a great question in the group, and that question, it was basically a question about powering the RV. She said, let it be known, I'm going to look real green on this. Would you guys be open to doing a video here or on YouTube on how power works in an RV? No lie, all I know is some things propane, and sometimes you're plugged in at a site. Sometimes your batteries are running everything. Yes. Okay, Tara. Yes, the power inside your RV, it can come from multiple sources. And I that seems so obvious to me now, but like there's people that don't know the differences in how you get power and what appliances work off of what. So that's a great question, and I want to explain it. So number one, what charges the batteries? Great question. So what charges the batteries? Well, when you're plugged into shore power, so that's 15 amp, 30 amp, or 50 amp power, that's typically what's supplied within a campground. You're going to be charging your house batteries on your RV. All RVs have a house battery, whether that's lead acid, whether that's lithium phosphate. You're going to have some type of battery. Also, when you're driving down the road and your RV is plugged into your truck or your SUV via the 4-way pin or the 7-way pin, your vehicle's alternator is also charging the house batteries. If you have solar installed on your RV, the solar is via the charge controllers is charging your RV house batteries. So there's many sources that can come through, but typically it's either going to be your vehicle's alternator while you're towing or at a campground. The shore power is going to be charging the RV. Then there's also the generator. If you have a generator that you're running, that will charge your house batteries. So basically, generator power and RV park shore power can be used interchangeably. Now they may be different levels of power, but they can be used interchangeably. Tara also asked, what does the propane do? Like, what is it connected to that it runs the thing, whatever the thing is? All I know is propane with gas grills. Okay, so propane tanks, liquid propane tanks, or LPG tanks. That is a fuel source, just like gasoline or diesel for gasoline or diesel generators. So on our RV, we have 3 propane tanks. Hello, Trex. We visited Glacier the week of July 4th, and it was beautiful. Going to the Sun Road was awesome at Hungry Horse National Forest. Yes, Glacier is incredible. It is now my new favorite National Park. It's just incredible. The water here is crystal clear. It's amazing. Okay, so back to fuel. Our generator runs off of liquid propane, so we use gas grill propane tanks to power our generator, which in turn charges our house batteries. The other thing is that your RV fridge, your propane/electric fridge, can also run off of propane. That's an option for powering just the RV, or just the refrigerator, excuse me. So essentially, when you're driving down the road, you would want it switched over to propane, and by magic, the RV fridge will cool using propane only. When you get to a park, it's best to stop using the propane and start using the electric so that you're not wasting your propane. As far as propane powering anything else inside the RV, the only way it's going to do that is if the generator that you have with you is propane powered. I hope that answers that question. Number 3 from Tara Moore. Do you use battery and propane at the same time? Typically, no. No, especially if it's an RV fridge. It's only going to be one or the other. I hope that answers that question. Number 4, when you are at a site, do you only use the power there? So here at Glacier National Park, it's dry camping only inside this national park. So we're with lots of tent campers. I think there's a tent right there. But then there's some RVs, like that one right there. So no, we're not using any power other than our generator and our solar. But if we are at an RV park where we are paying for electricity, yes, we are going to use the electricity, just because with our battery setup, we have only roughly 30 amp. When we get to an RV park, hopefully there's 50 amp service available and we can run both AC units, especially in this summer heat, and get cool. Number 5 from Tara. Exactly what is the power there at a site running? Okay, so when you are at an RV park, a typical RV park that has full hookups, and you have 15, 30, or 50 amp electricity available, it should be powering just about everything. So 15 amp is the common household outlet power. So if you have a stick and brick house still, look at an outlet in your kitchen and it's going to be 15 amp. So if you plug your RV into that, you can run an appliance. You can probably run your RV refrigerator off of the electric part. You may not be able to power much else. You probably won't be able to run an AC unit unless you've made special modifications to it. You know, if you're running anything and then you turn on a hair dryer, it's probably going to blow that breaker. 30 amp, you can run at least one AC. But you probably can't run an AC and a hair dryer or any other heating element type appliance. 50 amp, that is a little different. So 30 amp and 50 amp differ in that 50 amp is basically two 30 amp legs, and different sides of your RV, different outlets are powered by a different leg. It gets kind of confusing, but essentially 50 amp, you're going to be able to run just about anything you want. There are some toy haulers where they have and huge bus RVs that have 3 AC units on top, where you're probably not going to be running all of those plus a microwave. You're going to blow a breaker. But typical RVs with 1 to 2 AC units on 50 amp shore power, you're going to be able to run just about anything you want. And when I say shore power, I'm talking about electricity from the power company going through the RV park, and you're plugging into that. I hope that answers that question. Sorry, the camera's shaky, I know. Next question, number 6. if the power at a site is charging your battery while also running AC. Oh. Okay. I think she's asking if you're plugged into power at an RV site, can you charge your battery while also running AC or fridge? So yes, you can if you're connected to a good enough power supply. So at least 30 amp. You're not going to be able to do much off of 15 amp, which is which is a regular household 3-prong plug. When you're plugged in like that, your batteries are going to kind of be on trickle charge mode, so you may be able to get away with a little bit as well as charging your batteries, but probably not running an AC until you step up to 30 amp. When you step up to 30 amp, yeah, you're going to be able to do most anything you want. Paul Jordan, highly recommend Rose's Pizza just outside Glacier, headed back towards Flathead Lake. Awesome pizza and service. Something about plant-based. Hey, Rose's Pizza, I'm in. We're going to do that as we head out, because we have not eaten out. We've been here for 8 days, and we have not left the park. It's been so incredible here. So Rose's Pizza, I'm in. Thank you. Thanks, Paul. Let's see. Number 7. Am I going to blow a breaker blow drying this lion's mane of hair that was so generously gifted to me? Or is it just time to go all natural with these wild curls? I would love for Christian to be able to answer this, but, you know, I got long hair. I can answer this one. No, you're not going to blow a breaker. Well, okay. This goes back to the other questions. If you're plugged into 30 amp, a blow dryer might push you over the edge if you're running the AC. It might not. It depends on what other electronics are kind of phantom drawing power. 50 amp, which Tara, I think you guys are getting a rig with 50 amp, or you already have one with 50 amp, I can't remember. 50 amp, you're fine. I mean, we run the ACs, washing machine, blow dryer, sometimes at the same time. If we're on 50 amp or our 50 amp equivalent generator, no, we're fine. We can run all that. Tara, I hope you're watching, or you catch this later on, because I hope I'm answering all your questions. RV power can be very confusing. There will be a number of people that will tell you, oh, you want to install solar? Yeah, go for it. You can do it. And which is true, is if you want to put on some panels just to trickle charge your batteries, yeah, you can do it. After having gone through a solar install myself, have someone who's experienced do it. Because there's lots of different things. In a house, you're just getting power from the grid. That's it. It's not real confusing. In an RV, you've got batteries and generator, and then downstream of that should be a transfer switch, and then, or excuse me, shore power and generator, and downstream of that there should be a transfer switch that decides which one you want to use. And then from there, it goes house batteries to the incoming power, and there should be a transfer switch there to tell you, well, do I want to use the batteries and the solar, or do I want to use the incoming generator power? If you don't have an automatic transfer switch or an inverter that acts as a transfer switch, then you'll have to do it manually. But that can get dicey, because you can oversupply your rig with power and start blowing appliances, which is how my fridge met its death. So power in an RV can get quite confusing. But as far as propane is only going to power a propane powered generator or an RV fridge. Hello, should I turn off my refrigerator after every use if not going out into the RV for a couple weeks? Yes, I recommend, if it's an RV fridge, not a residential fridge that's in an RV. If it's an RV fridge, yes, I do recommend if it's not going to be used for a couple weeks, turn it off, leave the doors open. I've seen people kind of make makeshift wedges to kind of prop the doors open. You do not want the moisture that condenses inside that fridge sitting in there and getting stale, because it will stink when you open it up the next time. So, and I'm almost positive a lot of you have found that out the hard way. So if you're not going to use it for a couple weeks, prop the doors open and turn it off. It'll be fine. The small 8 cubic foot RV refrigerators, they don't use a whole lot of power, but I just don't see the use in powering it if it's going to be sitting in the driveway. Unless you just have an endless supply of propane and you can let it go. It's up to you. But if it were me, I would turn it off, let it air out. Great question. If there's not any other questions, I am going to talk about Glacier a little bit. So we have been inside Glacier for the past 8 days. We were only supposed to be here 3 days, but it was just so incredible, and we didn't get all the hikes in that we wanted to do, that we decided to stay longer. And it's actually quite funny because competition is fierce, not only for just parking spaces, but for the tent and RV camping. So we're here with Rob and Ashley Peoples of People and Places. Look them up on YouTube and on Instagram. Really fun family. We're camping here with them. It's like they're 4 months into full timing, and we dragged them out to Glacier National Park to dry camp. And I think we're wearing them down. But it's funny because we used our 3 nights of reservation. You can only reserve the group sites. So we camped in there. We decided we wanted to stay, so we had to fight tooth and nail like everyone else to get these individual sites. And we did. But we had to wake up at 5 a.m., wait in line out at the entrance. And what they do is they give the first 10 people in line a registration card, and you have to go to your site to register. You have to go find a site that'll fit the RV, that's got everything you need. You have to go find that site, make sure the people that are in that site are checking out, because they may want to stay, and they have up until 10 a.m. to decide if they want to stay or leave. So you have to make sure that they're going to check out, and then you can claim the site. Well, we got into the line at 5:30 a.m. and I was the 10th person in line. So I was the last person to get a registration card. Rob and I sprinted to the bikes that we had stashed, because you're only allowed to do this on foot. We stashed our bikes around the corner. We sprinted to those bikes, rode our bikes as fast as we could to the sites that we had picked out the night before, which is also against the rules, because they don't want you bothering campers, which is totally understandable. We got to those sites, we registered, and we were able to stay, an extra 5 days. And it's just been incredible. It's a little smoky here because of the wildfires, but the views are still just so stunning. We did St. Mary's and Virginia waterfall hikes the other day. Stunning. I'm going to include that in some upcoming videos. What else did we do? Went to Logan's Pass. And then we did some other hikes, which I can't remember the names of, but they were just like Glacier National Park is now my favorite national park. It was Yosemite because I was able to climb Half Dome there, but from what we did here, oh man, Glacier National Park is my absolute new favorite. We were able to jump. Wow, yes. So Paul, I've got a funny video that I'll put up on our published videos about the check-in process, because it's quite funny. It's intense. It's a little bit of Hunger Games going on, because there were some very upset people. But yeah, Glacier National Park, new favorite national park. When you go on these hikes, it's hot. It's in the mid-90s here today. And when you go on these hikes, there is just crystal clear, like Bahamas clear water. in these pools that are coming off of the waterfalls, and you can dive right into them. I mean, it's shockingly cold, but it is so refreshing. The kids really enjoyed the hikes, and that's not always the case. Sometimes they're just done with the hikes, but this one there was just endless views the entire hike. I think yesterday's hike was almost 6 miles round trip, and the kids loved it. They have wild huckleberries, which is an oxymoron because all huckleberries are wild. I just learned that from a ranger program. But they have huckleberries, they have not snowberries, thimbleberries. Thimbleberries all over the trail, and the kids were stopping every 2 to 3 minutes picking thimbleberries and eating them. So just all kinds of fun stuff to do here at the Apgar area inside Glacier National Park. We're still deciding if we're going to head over to Two Medicine. I don't know that we have time because our Yellowstone, our RV reservations inside Yellowstone National Park are coming up on the 6th. So I don't know that we're going to have time to head to the other side of Glacier and camp there, even though it's supposed to be spectacular. If anyone's camped at Two Medicine or Many Glacier, let me know in the comments, because that's supposed to be just incredible, but we couldn't get in this time. It is hard to get a reservation here. Well, I think I answered all of Tara's questions. The questions in the comments, I would be happy to answer them after this live. But I'll be going back to no service, so expect probably a 24-hour delay on that. Paul, you asked any issues with our dog inside Glacier National Park. No, not us. Our dog is service trained and is very well behaved, as she should be because she's service trained. So she is allowed anywhere we are allowed. But no, not all dogs are allowed on all hikes here in Glacier National Park. Up at Logan's Pass, there's a lot of ground squirrel activity, and so dogs are not actually allowed on the hikes. Service animals are not pets, they are medical devices, and so they will be allowed with you on any hike that you go on. But only certain hikes don't allow dogs in Glacier National Park. And I believe it varies park to park, but yeah. Sage is loving it. She has been swimming in Lake McDonald almost every day and cannot get enough of it. And it is so cool to watch because the water is, I mean, you can see straight to the bottom. I wish I could show you. I wish I could, and I will in a published video, but I can't do it here. All right, guys, thanks for watching. It is like 1,000,000 degrees in this car. So I'm going to sign off. Again, any questions, leave them in the comments. And be looking for our edited video this Tuesday. So we kind of flip-flopped. Instead of a live on Tuesday, I did the live today because I could, and I'll get the published video out on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. Your support means the world to us. So keep tuning in, keep subscribing and following along. It's everything for our business. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.